I have given a name to my pain. The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. You don't really think you'll win, do you? I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode number 38 of the Batman on Film vlog. I am the founder and editor-in-chief of Batman on Film, Jett, Ramey. And with me today, as mostly always, is RIck Shew. Rick, how you doing today, sir?
I would be doing a lot better if I had a more thunderous and enthusiastic, hey now!
Well, there you got one. There it is, right there.
Oh, was that it?
I'm serious today.
Whew. My allergies are kicking my ass today, so just forgive me.
Trying to be a serious journalist.
All
right.
Journalism is dead, sir.
We're going to talk. I'm all Batmaned out because we're going to talk Batman today.
I'm going straight to a meeting, so I can't be.
Congratulations. Anyway, let me see. Let me put this away so we can get going. All right, so let's get right to it. Anything else? Anything else? Any other witty banter we need to inject into the podcast before we start? All right. Okay, let's go. All right, so I believe it was Hollywood Reporter did an interview with the head honcho of Warner Brothers, and that would be Mr. Toby Emmerich. And it was about a variety of stuff with Warner Brothers, and they asked him about DC on film, and I'm going to read the entire quote. Rick, is that okay with you?
Sure.
All right. He said, "We all feel like we've turned a corner now. We're playing by the DC playbook, which is very different than the Marvel playbook. We are far less focused on a shared universe. We take it one movie at a time. Each movie is its own equation and own creative entity. If you had to say one thing about us, it's always that it always has to be about the directors." Thoughts?
It's music to my ears. What you and I have been wanting and saying for a long time.
I had a freaking conga line going, dude, so,
Were you being obnoxious online about this?
No. Yeah. A little
Conga
bit.
line. Jeez.
A little bit.
That's funny.
You got to have a little fun, inject a little personality in your...
Of course.
In your words, right?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's great. Listen, I like that he acknowledges that they are going a different route than Marvel. And by the way, for those of you who really cling on to shared universes and whatnot, it doesn't mean that down the road they're not maybe going to do something. Because he doesn't rule it out. He just says this is not our focus right now. And what that means is really simply one thing. We're going to make character-driven, director-driven films with individual properties, and we're going to give them their due. All right? Down the road, who knows what happens. And you know what? If down the road they can make it work, that's fine with me too. But let's just get these characters and put them in and give them, what's the word I'm looking for? Give them the honor and respect that they deserve.
Yes. I mean, look, this could be a whole show, and I can talk more about it later, but DC historically is different than Marvel. It is. DC was created, the characters were separate, and they existed in their own little worlds within their comic books. Yes, there was crossover. You got, there was Justice League finally came to be in the early 1960s. You had Batman and Superman getting together in World's Finest in the 1950s, but still, if you're reading Batman comics, it was the Batman world. If you're reading Superman comics, it's the Superman world. Marvel was created as one universe centered around New York City, and they all did, and they were all very much related. A wise man once educated me on that and said that basically Marvel was a unified kingdom, whereas DC existed in the feudal system with lords and vassals and their fiefs, and they all held them very tightly. And I get that analogy completely. Look, I think it's going to be, Rick, kind of like Aquaman. Let's clarify that Aquaman was, as you know, Aquaman was created. It was filmed under the previous regime and the previous way of doing things. So there was a little bit of, well, you know, you had the mention of Steppenwolf and so forth. But for the most part, that film was a standalone movie. Would you agree?
Of course.
So I think you're going to see stuff like that. So if
you didn't need to see B versus S or Justice League to watch the Aquaman.
No. And it also did not. it was not setting up another film, unless you want to count the mid-credit scene with Black Manta as trying to set up Aquaman 2, which is part of my point. It wasn't trying to set up a team-up film. You didn't have frickin' Legion of Doom recruiting Black Manta or Orm, Ocean Master for that matter, to be part of their team. There was no... Maybe there'd been a few winks and nods, and that stuff's, you know, it kind of annoys me. I don't need it, but I get it. It's fine. It wasn't trying to set up something. There was no part of it that was a commercial for another DC film that's not Aquaman or a team-up film. And I think you'll get that with Wonder Woman 1984, which probably won't have any of that, you know, since it's a period piece. And, you know... Which,
by the way, Patty Jenkins has broke some silence on that a little bit, giving insight of that film. I'm excited for that movie, dude. Real excited. When does that come out again? It's next June, right?
Yes.
So it's a little over a year from now.
Say a year and a half, basically. Yeah. So what did she say before we...
Well, she was talking about how bringing back Trevor's actually wasn't something that was like, I'm paraphrasing here, but and I don't know who she was talking to. I actually got it from Mario's Revenge of the Fans, and I don't know what the source was, but she said that we didn't say, okay, Steve Trevor's worked, and so we have to squeeze him in or shoehorn him in on this film. It actually makes perfect sense. When you see the movie, you'll know what she's talking about. And then she says that she chose the 1980s because it was like the purest and what's the other word? It was basically saying the 80s was the decade where Americans or mankind really, I guess, didn't feel like there were consequences for their actions. They could just do anything, which is true. The excess of the 80s is very real. And so she said, and that's something that they really tap into in the film.
Okay.
So
I mean,
that's great.
I am a teenager and young adult of the 80s. I graduated high school in 1984, where the year the film is set, and graduated college in 1989, and didn't go all on my own until then. So I get it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it a lot. So
yeah,
I mean, so let's say you get a Flash film with Ezra Miller. If you go see it and you want to think in your mind that out there somewhere is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and all those characters, Cyborg, and whoever else, you can. If you want to go in and just don't care about that kind of stuff, and you're not going to get beat over the head with hey, we're setting up another film, and here comes Legion of Doom, and here comes Justice League 2, and whatever. You want to have that either, and that's I think that's a fair way to go. I think it's a fair way to go, and I'm completely on board. Like I said, look.
Hey,
you know?
I asked you a question the other day. Let's get it on the record here.
Yeah.
All right. So Aquaman obviously was made under the old regime. Technically, Shazam is as well for the most part. Obviously, with the BS and Man of Steel references in that first trailer. Still curious to see what they do with that. If they keep it all, maybe they will. I don't know. So what is the actual first film that is completely free from this regime? And I don't want to say the Joker, because I'm talking about characters that were already established.
It's got to be Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey, because Wonder Woman 84 is kind of still.
Kind of. I mean, if you want to say completely removed from it.
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. I would say Wonder Woman 1984. But if you want to just, like I said, completely free of it, Birds of Prey. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Anything
All right.
Anything else on those the new way, the new
No.
old way?
No, I'm just waiting
new old
on,
way
hoping that
DC on film.
2019 brings us some Batman news. I saw your article about Matt Reeves. What's the source of this whole thing? It may not be called the Batman or whatever.
Okay, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
I got it on my list.
Okay. I didn't get an itinerary emailed me.
Well, that's because I try to make it as spontaneous as possible for you.
Oh.
And
So what's on our list?
Okay, next we had a TV spot for Shazam that hit the airwaves this past weekend during the NFC and AFC NFL Championship games, and it was kind of billed as a trailer. It was a TV. I saw it, I said, that's a TV spot. It was less than a minute, and it had the seated IMAX and whatever at the end, and April 5th.
Some new fun footage.
Yeah, what did you think? I thought it was. I liked it. I laughed. I laughed.
Looks great.
Yeah.
Looks great. So what does he say? So which way do I get some beer?
Or yeah. Could you please direct me to some of your finest beer?
Yeah, can you please direct me to some of your finest beer?
It was. Yeah.
I put on Twitter a picture of Tom Hanks and the kid that played his best friend in the film Big, and then I juxtaposed it with Shazam, and there's something about, especially this most recent trailer, TV spot, whatever, it has such a feel. There's a vibe. There's something about this film that I feel like they probably certainly took inspiration from Big.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
I mean they had to. Like the scene where they're talking about his house, like, can we have it over a cliff and all that? That's very much taking it right out of the playbook of when they were looking for his loft in Manhattan, and it's just, it feels, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
I laughed at that part too, And
yeah, that's all great because I love that film.
Yeah, we saw some new footage, and have him flying for the first time, and
looks very much right out of Man of Steel.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's a nod to Man of Steel, to a little to a certain degree.
Sure.
Certainly not the same tone as Man of Steel. This is fun, and fun in a very charming way of being fun.
Well, the actor that's playing Shazam, Zachary Levi has a Mark Sudeikis. Is that his name? Sudeikis? Jason Sudeikis. He has a Jason Sudeikis charm to him.
I thought it was more like
reminds me of Jason Sudeikis.
Diane Keaton or.
No.
Jeremy Lyons.
No.
Okay, never mind. Okay.
No. What was you had one recently on Twitter. Ooh, I knew you were going to come after me with that. I would have remembered it. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I'll get you.
Because it wasn't as memorable as
Keaton. Well, I mean, I don't hold on to these things. I'm more secure than that.
Yes, I'm very excited for Shazam, who is Captain Marvel to me. I need to do some catch up, Rick, to be honest, because I'm old school Captain Marvel. I read all those old Fawcett comics when I was a kid. Once DC got the rights to the character in the 70s. And a lot of these characters have changed. Like back in the day, in that Golden Age version of Captain Marvel, Dr. Savannah was just a mad scientist dude. And now he's got powers. So I reached out to someone and said, okay, fill me in on this Dr. Savannah thing, because well, that's the way it is now, I guess. So I'm going to, hey, if you got any suggestions out there of some trades, collected stuff of Shazam, Captain Marvel that are recent that I should pick up and read before we see this film, tweet me or email me, Jett at batman-on-film.com. I'd like to read some of that stuff. But yeah, I'm excited for it. We got our watch party coming up in Austin. You can find all that information on Batman on Film proper. It's going to be Saturday, April 6th at the Alamo Drafthouse, South Lamar, and the great city of Austin, Texas. Probably what, Rick, about a 4 or 5 p.m.
Yeah, obviously when screen times are released, we'll announce that, and everybody just grab your ticket and show up.
Yes.
If you can make it to Austin, if you're not in the area and you have the means, we'd love to see you. So
Yes. I will be there the whole weekend. I'm coming in Friday morning because my youngest son is taking his tour of the University of Texas, which he wants to attend when he graduates high school in 2020. All right. So we're looking forward to Shazam, and it's now we're almost just a tad over 2 months away from Shazam, so we should be getting more stuff, promotional stuff on that as we go along here in the next few weeks, and we'll have all that stuff on Batman on film. Okay, anything else on Shazam, Rick? Captain Marvel, Shazam.
no, looks fun.
Shazam. Did you ever watch you were too young. It was out in like 74. Do you remember the Shazam Saturday morning TV show?
I remember it, but I never watched it.
Okay. Love that show.
I think my sister used to watch it because it would be on, but I don't know. I was young.
ISIS and all that, yeah. That's cool. Mentor, drove around in that van.
I was more interested in Casey Kasem's Robin.
For Super Friends?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, get to what you brought up a second ago. I wrote a story about it this morning. I thought it was a little bit interesting just to bring up because for years, I'll say years, like 2 or 3 years, 2 years, we've been calling this solo Batman film The Batman, and that came about even when Ben Affleck was still going to write / produce / direct / star in it. And I think it was even kind of him saying something like, "What's it going to be called?" And he goes, "I don't know. I guess The Batman. We'll call it The Batman." It kind of went from there. But it was listed officially, say quote unquote officially, in Production Weekly for a long time. Anytime they mentioned something, it was always The Batman. And I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Daniel RPK at Daniel RPK on Twitter, who I follow. Daniel posted a screenshot or a picture of what I believe, I'm pretty about 99.9% sure it was an entry or listing on Production Weekly, and it now says Untitled Batman Project, and it is Reeves's film because it also, one of the production companies listed is 6th in Idaho, which is Matt Reeves's
production company.
So look, maybe it is called The Batman, maybe it's called something else. But I just found it interesting that they've now referring to it as Untitled Batman Project. And does that mean it could have a new title? What do you think? Or would you want a new title? Do you like The Batman?
I'm not married to The Batman. Call it World's Greatest Detective. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't even have Batman in the title. Nolan didn't in 2 of his films. Worked out fine.
Don't really have to. I mean,
No.
I said the same thing. I think I said I'm not married to the same word. I think I used in my article. I'm not married to it. I like The Batman, but they call it something else. That's fine. I'm cool. So,
Sure. I don't care what it's called. Just be good.
Yeah, but I just thought it was interesting to, maybe get a new title. What it could be, I don't know. I mean, we've had Batman twice. I don't know if we would do a third just straight Batman film.
No. They would do The Batman before they would do that.
I'm not big on like Batman, and then a subtitle either. I'd like a title. The Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, whatever. I mean, got any suggestions besides World's Greatest Detective?
Well, I don't know.
Seriously?
I was just being spontaneous.
I wouldn't be on board with the Cape Crusader. I would not, even though I love that nickname for Batman. I don't know if that's a good movie title, but
I think it's either going to be The Batman or it's going to be something that just catches us off guard that we couldn't even have thought of.
That would be fine.
Right.
That'd be totally fine.
I don't think it's going to be Batman Dawn of Justice, sort of, kind of, or The Batman Rises or whatever. And we've already had Batman Returns, Batman Forever. I think we can...
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin, we can get away from some of this stuff.
We had Batman and...
So at the end of the day, who cares what he calls it, right?
Well, as long as it's good.
That's right.
I do like a cool title. Go ahead. Go.
Well, I want to come back around. Are we done with this one?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay. I want to just make sure I get this quote right because it was good. So I pulled it up on Revenge of the Fans. It's the Patty Jenkins thing coming back to Wonder Woman. It's an interview she was giving with AM to DM. And this is what she's talking about with Trevor. She says, it wasn't a solution to, oh God, that worked out. Let's try to jam you in there. It's all incredibly important to the story. It makes perfect sense, and that's what I can tell you. And then down below, when she was asked why she chose the 1980s, I just think this is a cool quote. I want to make sure it's verbatim. The 1980s is kind of mankind at their most extreme and at their best. It was when we could do anything we wanted and had no idea about the price yet. Jenkins added, transitioning over into the sequels time period, so we have really committed to that version of the 80s. It's actually the most aspirational and elegant version of the 1980s. So there you go.
Cool.
That's pretty cool.
We got.
I
have to wait for the movie.
I've never thought of elegance with the 1980s, but I guess elegance. I think a decadence.
Well, there was that. It was very pretentious and.
Yes.
Look at Dynasty. I mean, how.
Oh, absolutely.
The elegance of it, and same as.
That's what I'm saying. The excess of it, right?
Same with Dallas. So they were both Stevie nighttime soap operas at the time, and with all that, yeah.
Watch like how Stone taps into that with Wall Street.
I said, I graduated in 1984 from high school, so this is right up my alley, and they're nailing the aesthetic in terms of whoever the costume designer on that is fantastic. I will say that.
Yes.
Members only jackets I've seen. Let's get out some parachute pants. What else? I mean, come on. Pinch roll your jeans. Izod shirts, mullet haircuts, everything. Let's go. Do it all. All right. Anything else, Rick, that has it's on your mind today? You want to talk about with Batman? Anything DC? Anything in general at all?
I would just say congratulations to Aquaman for being a $1 billion film, because you and I weren't quite sure that was going to happen, and it did. And I think that needs to be applauded.
Oh, I'm happy that it's a $1 billion film.
It's a $1 billion film.
I think we talked about it. I just think the way the box office came to be is interesting.
It's interesting, but I think that's a sign of that it's becoming more of a global thing now anyway. Maybe the domestic box office won't quote unquote mean as much. At the end of the day, it's
money. It's money. Money's money, but I think you still have to look at it and say, okay, why didn't we do this number domestically when it did this foreignly? And I would say conversely, Black Panther, which was nominated for Best Picture. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So congrats to that's one of my favorite Marvel movies.
I mean, I'll say congrats to it, sure, but the Oscars are bullshit. So
yeah, but I mean, well, they have been ever since The Dark Knight didn't get nominated for Best Picture. But anyway, Black Panther made its hay domestically. It's almost it's opposite,
Right.
So I think that stuff's interesting. So anyway.
It is interesting, but at the end of the day, you're right. It's the receipts that matter.
Yeah. So. I mean, at least to the studio, for sure. Absolutely. All right. Let's. Anything you're going to plug, Rick? Go ahead.
Just follow me on Twitter at ShewRick, SHEWRICK. If you're on Facebook and you're one of the couple hundred people that have been following the Batman on Film Shew's Facebook page, I'm dissolving that. It's going to be dead in like 9 more days. There's a countdown on it. I'm just moving all that conversation and dialogue over to our private Facebook page. So if you're not a member there and you're not a fanboy that's going to cause a lot of problems, just want to have fun and ball bust and talk shop, hit us up over at the Batman on Film Facebook private page. And I'm moving all the conversations there. Because I was posting everything I'd post at that BOF Shew, I'd run over and post it on the Facebook page anyway. And then some of the same people were crossing over and we're having like the same conversation in 2 places. I'm like, that Facebook private page has really grown. It's rendered that little offsite useless. So hit us up over there.
It's essentially like an old message board is what it is. That's pretty much serves that purpose. So yeah, there's no nonsense there. If you want to come over and be able to talk with.
Oh, there's nonsense, but fun nonsense.
Well, you know what kind of I'm talking about. What kind of nonsense I'm talking about. So.
And I'll take an opportunity to plug me and Eric Holzman's Star Wars page as well. We have a private Star Wars page called the Rational Star Wars Fan Page. Hit us up there.
Is there such thing as that, Rick?
All opinions are welcome unless you want to start talking about, social justice warrior stuff. You can keep that.
Okay.
All right. You don't have a place at the table if you into that kind of nonsense where somebody ruined your childhood because of a movie they made. No. Just come on over. Let's talk about Star Wars.
Let me also say that speaking of Eric Holtzman and Pete Ver, they'll be covering the Reign of the Supermen movie premiere in New York City. Should have some cool stuff with that. And I'll be posting some interviews that Pete did back at New York Comic-Con.
Cool.
For the Reign of the Supermen with Justin Tucker and others who worked on it here shortly. And I can't think of anything else coming up. I'm going to plug that SHAZAM watch party again. If you can make it and you've never been to Austin, best city in Texas, you'll love it. Come on out and join us.
One of the best cities in the U.S.
It is. Details are on Batman on Film proper. So, with that said,
well, let's also plug.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've got a brand new podcast up that Ryan Haas hosted, and they have a voiceover actor that played the Riddler.
Yes. In the Arkham video games, and also
Wally Wingert.
Yes, Wally Wingert.
Yeah, that's right.
He was voice of the Riddler in the Arkham video games. He was also voiced the Penguin in the animated 60s Batman. Return of the Caped Crusaders. And
what a cool guest.
Yeah, and actually they're gonna. I'll be posting one tomorrow. A new episode of the podcast with Justin and the guys, and they talk about the Unbreakable trilogy, Unbreakable, Split, and the newly released Glass, which
I think that's Ryan.
It's Ryan.
Paul Herman is on that one, I believe.
Yeah,
he's always great. Ryan. So who was on the show with Ryan Haas on the Batman Arkham video game show?
I believe Ryan Lauer put all that together.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, Ryan Lauer is. Yeah. Ryan Lauer, he's great.
Yeah,
cool.
Ryan Lauer put all that together. So.
Oh, he did.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So give him a shout out. Then I'm going to listen to that today. In fact, I'm excited.
Yeah, and I think of anything else. I'll leave you with one thing. I'm feeling really, really good about the Batman, or Matt Reeves' untitled Batman project.
About the world's greatest detective, Kate Rises.
That's all I'm going to say is I'm feeling really, really good about it. So stay tuned to Batman on Film. Says, just stay tuned. Just do so. All right.
That's your coyness.
Yes. All right. So, Rick, let's do our tagline. Batman on Film. Authoritative. I don't have my dadgum Batman thing.
Yeah, and I shave my beard, and so I don't feel as southern here.
All right. Well, come on, get it back.
Well, you have to team me up.
There's the South, Rick, and then there's Texas. Okay, let's get that straight.
The authoritative,
definitive, and the
dadgum original.
All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.